There's no such thing as questions, just hidden answers. Stay tuned to PH Murder Stories as we revisit the inconceivable crimes that exist. Some listeners may find the following content of PH Murder Stories highly disturbing due to its graphic nature. PH Murder Stories does not condone nor promote violence in all sorts. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Naaawa na po ako sa inyo, mahal na Pangulo. Tigilan niyo na po ako. Ano pong gusto niyo sa akin? May gusto po ba kayo sa akin?
Ano, ulit mo?
She was asking, sir, kung may gusto daw po ba kayo sa kanya.
Hulihin niyo na ako ngayon! Kung yan naman talaga gusto niyo, ikulong niyo na ako ngayon! I'm here! Do what you want to me, Mr. President. I'll wait for you.
In all sincerity, as a human being, I think, honestly, I'm not trying to derogate her. She's a lawyer. She's bright. I think she's breaking down. I would suggest that she takes days off, then maybe, I am afraid that I said, if she continues yakking there and listening to, she will have a nervous breakdown.
After 5 months of sensational testimonies echoed at the walls of the House of Representatives, on February 17, 2017, 3 criminal charges were filed against Senator Laila de Lima by the Department of Justice, the very same agency which brought her the prominence to win a seat in the upper chamber after leading it for 5 years. De Lima, who called herself the first political prisoner under Duterte's regime, said that the complaints against her are plain and simple political persecution. The following day, her successor, Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre, denied the claims and added that it was, quote, wrong for Senator de Lima to refer to herself as a political prisoner, unquote. 6 days after being indicted, Judge Juanito Guerrero of Muntinlupa RTC Branch 204 issued an arrest warrant against the lady lawmaker. De Lima, who was at the Senate at the time of the release of the order, pleaded to be arrested at 10 a.m. the following day, as agreed upon with authorities. She went home to see her family and prepare her things, but returned to the Senate after finding out that arresting officers planned to arrest her at home. After spending the night at the Senate, De Lima surrendered to the police at around 8 a.m. She was first brought to the Muntinlupa RTC before going to Camp Crame for detention, where she would join former Senators Bong Revilla and Jinggoy Estrada, who were detained during the Aquino administration due to alleged corruption. A year later, Jaybee Sebastian pleaded guilty in an arraignment for charges of conspiring with De Lima and 5 others to drug trade at the NBP compound during the legislator's term as Justice Secretary. With these reforms for prisoners, the National Bilibid Prison has reported that over 17,000 inmates have agreed to renounce their gang affiliations, which gradually dismantles the gang system that has thrived in the National Penitentiary for decades. Bureau of Corrections Director General Nicanor Faeldon said dormitories would now also be mixed. marking an end to the long-standing practice of assigning inmates to cells based on their gang membership. But with this new harmonious arrangement inside the prison, an unforeseen consequence transpired within the National Penitentiary. On July 20, 2020, Bureau of Corrections Chief Gerald Bantag confirmed the death of high-profile inmate Jaybee Sebastian due to coronavirus. Following Interagency Task Force or IATF protocol, Jaybee Sebastian's remains were cremated within 12 hours after his death. However, this statement did not suffice the query of the public, who are doubtful of the circumstances of Jaybee Sebastian's death. This prompted the Senate to probe, in aid of legislation, the suspicious COVID-19 deaths of prominent fatalities, including Sebastian, as said in a resolution filed by Senate President Vicente Soto III. Citing unclear, inaccurate, and unverified reports, Soto said the Senate will investigate, quote, speculations as to whether these NBP inmates actually died due to the COVID-19 disease, unquote, or if the alleged deaths were a ruse to let the prisoners escape. On the other hand, Senator Laila de Lima, who was pinpointed by Jaybee Sebastian in illegal drug transactions inside the prison, said, "There's utter lack of transparency surrounding the deaths of persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs, and the actual extent of the COVID-19 contagion in jails and prisons nationwide." These deaths of high-profile NBP PDLs not only raise numerous doubts on how health protocols and procedures are being outright neglected by the Bureau of Corrections, but also how this pandemic can be a convenient excuse to cover up torture and killings of PDLs, or worse, to even simulate deaths of PDLs, De Lima added. With speculation surrounding the controversial death of Jaybee Sebastian, there are questions left unanswered. How did the inmates acquire COVID-19? Was it Jaybee's ashes that were shown to the public as proof? Is the Bureau of Corrections hiding something from the Filipino people? For now, what we know is Jaybee died of natural causes. His legacy as a gang leader, through his bureaucratic style of leadership, is an interesting one. Whether the conspiracy theories about Jaybee Sebastian being murdered inside the New Bilibid Prison are true or false, Jaybee lived a bewildering and colorful life. But the suddenness of his death would remain a mystery. For further updates, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at phmurderstories, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, PH Murder Stories. This podcast is brought to you by Review Visuals. Did you like this episode? Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, or if you're listening in other platforms, kindly send us a review on our Facebook page or send us a tweet. You can also share our podcast to your Instagram and Facebook stories through Spotify. Your support would significantly benefit PH Murder Stories to produce more quality content. We're also inviting you to join our Facebook group, PH Murder Stories, The Verdict, and participate in our bi-weekly discourse about true crime, both local and international. This group is a safe space for true crime and mystery fans like us who want to engage in thorough discussions about the subject. See you there, suspects. The verdict is in your hands. See you there.